From my heart to you, thank you so much for what you guys do for these children to be here tonight. I know it's a long run. I know you guys had to rush after work. I know you had to do all those things, but they are a great representative of our school district. We're so proud, and I just wanted to say thank you for being here. So thank you, Ms. Halsell, and thank you for you guys being there, and thank you for the choir for being here. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, not much more to add after all of these great individuals giving you the praise, and it's well deserved for the two of you. The leadership skills. It goes back to also just showing the talent that we have here in Brevard County with our students, and it's moments like this that we can sit back, reflect on what's really important. I mean, school kids having a great time with their friends. Like, guys, how many enjoy doing what you just did? Right?
You should all raise your hand.
And to have the talent to pull it off. It was so nice. You know, for Matt and myself, we have no talent between us with music. And
We actually sing all the time.
and to hear that, it's beautiful. It really is. You guys did a great job. You know, leadership matters, and it doesn't matter if it's an after-school club or, like you said, the football team or the robotics team. Leadership matters, and it helps, and it spreads. And wonderful speaking. You guys are in great hands. You've got leaders like yourself, and I'm sure you've shown such a great example. Again, Matt said it, but parents, I can't see you back there. But again, thank you. This is stuff that you didn't have to do, but you do it, and we appreciate you lending your students to us to show people all around Brevard County and beyond of what we have here talent-wise in Brevard. So thank you so much. Dr. Rendell?
Nothing to add. They were amazing. We'll just take a short break and take a picture.
Yep. We would like to take a moment to honor some exceptional individuals who have made a difference at Brevard schools through their commitment and service as a school-based volunteer. With that, we would like to bring the following principals up to the podium to announce the Volunteer of the Year winners. Principal Catherine Murphy of Endeavor Elementary School for Youth Volunteer of the Year.
Right.
Principal Shannon Daly of Manatee Elementary School for Adult Volunteer of the Year, and Principal Sarah Van Brimmer of Palm Bay Elementary School for Senior Citizen Volunteer of the Year.
is with great pride and admiration that we honor Madison McGrory as our Youth Volunteer of the Year. As a graduating senior, Madison has demonstrated extraordinary dedication and leadership in her volunteer efforts, leaving a lasting impact on our school. Her work has not only provided direct service to our students, but also has made an impact among her peers, as she brings them with her. One of Madison's most notable contributions was the creation of a fourth grade financial literacy program. Recognizing the importance of financial education at an early age, Madison took it upon herself to design a comprehensive curriculum that introduced key financial concepts to our young learners. Through interactive lessons and engaging activities, Madison empowered our fourth grade students to better understand budgeting, saving, and responsible money management skills that will benefit them for years to come. In addition to her work in financial literacy, Madison played an instrumental role in supporting our Saturday school program, aiming at providing extra academic support to our students. Madison's commitment to supporting students and families and staff at Endeavor is evident every time she steps on campus. She embraced every opportunity to leave her mark on our school community through her gift of time and talents. As Madison prepares to attend the University of Central Florida this fall, it is clear that her passion for service and dedication to making a difference will continue to guide her in her future endeavors. Her leadership, vision, and tireless efforts have made quite an impact on our community, and we are confident that she will continue to inspire and lead in all that she does. Congratulations, Madison. Come on up.
Good evening. I am so fortunate to have two special Manatee volunteers in the room tonight. Senior volunteer Bill Perlman and Jennifer Yuski, the Manatee and BPS Volunteer of the Year. Jennifer Yuski is the heart of Manatee Elementary. For over a decade, she has dedicated her time, talents, and endless energy to make our school a better place. With 3 children coming through Manatee, Jennifer has truly done it all, helping in classrooms, organizing events, supporting students and teachers in countless ways. One of her biggest contributions has been spearheading the school-wide publishing project, giving students the incredible opportunity to become young authors. She also ensures every child's artwork is proudly displayed for grade level and music productions, celebrating their creativity and hard work. Jennifer's passion for the arts and education shines through in everything she does, creating magical moments for our students and families. Beyond her many contributions, what makes Jennifer truly special is the way she connects with both students and teachers. She's always there with a helping hand, a kind word, and a very big smile. Her dedication, enthusiasm, and love for Manatee Elementary are felt by everyone who walks through our doors. Jennifer Yuski has given her heart to Manatee Elementary, and we are beyond grateful for her years of service. She is not just a volunteer, she is the cornerstone of our community, a champion for our students and staff, and an inspiration to everyone on our campus. Jennifer Yuski.
Good evening. I am very excited to recognize tonight Palm Bay Elementary Senior Volunteer of the Year, Mr. Walter Greg Young II. Mr. Young's 2 children attended Palm Bay Elementary quite a few years back, so he's been a supporter of PBE for a long time. Mr. Young is a resource in our community with a passion for electronics. He became a fingerprinted volunteer several years ago so that he could start an electronics club at our school. For an entire year, he met with students after school to take apart and later repair radio speakers, and together they built robots. The students learned how to use tools and repair basic electronics as they learned valuable skills. 2 years ago, Mr. Young filled our school's need for a Sea Perch coach for our STEAM teams. Again, he met weekly after school hours with a small group of 5th and 6th grade students. These 2 teams built underwater robots from scratch and later competed in the innovation games under his direction. This past year, Mr. Young again coached PBE's Sea Perch teams. This time, the group was comprised of our 4th grade gifted learners. During the fall, he visited PBE's gifted program during the school day on a weekly basis. Again, he coached the team up until the Innovation Games, where our students enjoyed a fun and successful experience. Outside of volunteering, Mr. Young continues to work a full-time job, so adding Palm Bay Elementary students to his full-time schedule was quite a gift to our students and our school community. We are looking forward to our continued partnership with Mr. Young as he coaches a new group of budding PBE STEM engineers.
Yep, let's do it. Us to this part of the show. Mr. Susan, would you go to the podium for the museum passport recognition?
Yes, can I have the members of the mob to come down to the podium along with the students that went through the passport program? Come on up, let's go.
Members of the mob,
Oh yeah, I'll explain.
huh? Okay.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, line up over here, guys.
Isn't there a name for them? Isn't it like an APAC?
Sorry, Don's trying to get out, everybody. We good, Mr. Chair?
We're good.
Thank you. So what I wanted to do was today take a second. There's an amazing group of people that we're about to announce, and we're going to tell a story a little bit. But first off, the mob are the members of the Museums of Brevard. And many of you may not know all the museums and the amazing things that we have inside of our community. But last year, our board made a commitment to try to get kids to go out into the community and learn more about our community and our history. So we started a passport program where every student that goes in to each one of the different places part of the museum would actually get a certificate stamped. And what they would do is if they got over 10 museums that they visited, they could come in front of the board. This is our first group that's coming through. And I wanted to take a minute and say thank you to the Museums of Brevard. Thank you to the ECAC committee. That's a committee that was formed to create this along with the school board and all of the parents and everybody else that are here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to call your names up one at a time. If you guys can come over here and stand over here with Dr. Rendell, and then we'll go through them. All right. We're proud to recognize the incredible achievement of our students who have visited 10 or more museums as part of the Museum Passport program. These curious and dedicated learners have taken an excited journey throughout history, science, art, and culture, exploring the many treasures of our community has to offer. By engaging in these enriching experiences, they're not only expanded their knowledge, but also deepened their connection to the diverse stories and heritage that shapes our world. We extend our heartfelt thanks to the families for supporting this educational adventure and helping to inspire a spirit of curiosity and creativity and community pride with our students. Mr. John Rosine, first, come on over. Mr. Johns from Vieira High School. William Johnson from Bayside High School. Brennan Clemens from Sherwood Elementary.
Good job.
Cale Clemens from Sherwood Elementary. Reese Olson from Roy Allen Elementary. Danielle Ann Waters from Roy Allen Elementary. Richard Rule from Suntree Elementary. There you go. Robert Rule from Suntree Elementary. He's not going to run like his brother. Victoria Harris from McNair Middle School. Simone Harris from McNair Middle School. Caleb Harris from Vieira Elementary School.
So cute he is. With his tie.
Jermaine Council from Southwest Middle School. Wonder Park from Vieira Elementary School. Ray Park from Vieira Elementary School. Bernard Dombrosk from Cocoa Beach Junior Senior High School. And I think, is that it? Taylor Arndt from Creel Elementary. Don, did you want to say anything? You want to say something about the whole program and everything else? Come here, Rosie.
I guess I'm the spokesman for the mob, but we have our president right here. But there's about 20 museums and historic homes that have formed the mob. We are a 501c3 organization on our own, but our goal is to get out to the, teach the families. In my case, I'm a Veterans Memorial Center on Merritt Island. We have military history there, and we enjoy all the students that come out there, both in field trips and for the representing the mob and the passport program. Do you want to say anything and more? Oh, okay, all right. But we appreciate the time and the school board has put into this, and thank you very much. All right.
I wanted to give John Rosine an opportunity to speak about what he saw, some of the things that you saw. Go ahead.
I thought it was pretty cool. Me and my mom went most of the time, and my dad went too, and I thought it was pretty fun. There were mastodons, there were lots of houses. I learned some cool stuff. It was pretty cool. So yeah, very nice.
Next, we have Mr. Chael Clemens. I'm going to try to lower this for him. Go ahead, come on. And then this will be it.
While we were at all the museums, it was really fun and it was a very good opportunity for us to learn about history.
Everybody, we have a special student that we're going to give an award to, but first off, we have a special teacher who has 38 years of experience. If she could come up here right now and honor this teacher or this student. Miss Leslie Walters, if you're in the crowd, could you please come over here for just a second? Is Lenore here? Oh, you know what I'm doing?
I was told I was coming to watch a former student's daughter, who is now a present student, get an award.
So we kind of lied. We lied to Miss Walters, so everybody knows. Miss Walters has been a teacher at Croton Elementary School for 38 years. Now, she has a bunch of her fans here that she brought. I wanted to kind of put it into perspective for them, many of you that are here, of how long ago this actually happened. None of you were born when she started teaching at Croton. Princess Bride was the #1 movie that year. The Simpsons came out for the first time. Dr. Rendell was just starting college. Gene Trent just graduated high school. Ronald Reagan was the president. Fox Network had just launched. Mike Tyson became the undisputed champion. I will tell you that this woman, throughout my entire school board career, has been a godsend for our children here and what I've watched. And I will tell you, without a doubt, she's one of the most special people we have. Thank you. Come here. Come here, come here. Now, Miss Walters never misses an opportunity to say anything, and she calls me on almost every issue and tells me how bad of a job I do when I do a bad job. So come here. Your floor, Miss Walters.
Oh, wow. First of all, I got to get you, Alicia Kuntz. I was told that a former student, I taught Ms. Kuntz Murphy, who's been at our school for 21 years as a teacher. I taught her in first, second, third grade, all the way up. And her daughter was supposed to be getting an award, and I came up with them just to see Lenore win. And here we go. And I didn't even see all these people over here, my fellow PE people and my own child. It has been a pleasure to work in Brevard County for 38 years, 38 and a half, because I started as a TA. Couldn't get in the door as a teacher back then. Now I probably could. Anyway, I don't know what to say. I told the gentleman who's taken over my job, I feel like I'm giving up my firstborn child, and he better take care of it, because that's exactly how I feel about my school and my community. And I don't know what else to say, but thank you for embarrassing me.
No.
So I have one more thing. Jennifer, you want to bring that up? That's her Lifetime Achievement Award from Croton Elementary School for all of her work. There are literal trees that are planted that were this big that are now monstrous that she planted when she started, just so you know. But there's a thing that I wanted to talk about real quick, and I talked to Dr. Rendell about this already, and we're going to ask the board to do it. We have so many great teachers that come through here, so many great teachers that retire, and if every one of you that's a teacher or you've been a part of the retirement, it's great. There's 20, 30, 40 people that come, they sign off, they do these great things. But the problem is that there's nothing after that. And they do so many years. So what we're going to do is I'm going to ask the board right now if it's okay. But what we're going to do is for every teacher that puts in more than 20 years of service, we're going to go ahead and put a brick here at the school district. And we're going to start honoring all of our teachers for their commitment and staff, IAs, bus drivers, everybody else. You put your time in Brevard. We're gonna recognize that, and it's all because Miss Leslie Walters brought it to my heart when I saw everything that was going on. So I just wanted to say thank you, Miss Walters.
You do it alphabetically. My name is starting with an A and B.
So what do you think, board? We okay? We can move on that? All right, we got it. All right, thank you, everybody. Let's go take a picture with her. Come on, we're gonna do it. I know I pushed an envelope.
All right.
Great job on that. At this time, I'd like to invite David Schleeth to the podium.
While David's making his way up here, a huge shout out to the Brevard academic team for taking second place at the state tournament. Very tough competition, and they fought fiercely and came home with a second place trophy. So we're going to honor them tonight.
Indeed, and my name is Dr. David Schleith. I'm the STEM coordinator here at the district, and one of the pleasures that I have in my role is to be able to support not just the academic team, but also the robotics teams that we see here. So I think we're going to recognize some achievement here, starting with the pink team, who you could probably recognize in the crowd from their uniforms. At the Tallahassee Regional, they came away with 3 awards. They were regional finalists, finishing in second place behind Team Voltage from Melbourne High School. They won the Impact Award, which qualified them for World Championship. The first Impact Award is the most prestigious award at FIRST and honors the team that best represents a model for other teams to emulate and best embodies the mission of FIRST. It was created to keep the central focus of FIRST robotics competition on the ultimate goal of transforming the culture in ways that will inspire greater levels of respect and honor for science and technology, as well as encouraging more of today's youth to become science and technology leaders. Their lead faculty advisor, Ms. Chenault, won the Woody Flowers Finalist Award. This award is written and submitted by the students and is awarded to 1 mentor per regional competition and is selected from over 50 submissions at the competition. In Orlando, they were regional finalists. They won the Excellence in Engineering Award, which highlights the robot and also emphasizes the student's ability to articulate the design process and explain why the robot was built the way it was. In Smoky Mountain, they were regional semifinalists and also won the Imagery Award in honor of Jack Kamen. This award celebrates attractiveness in engineering and outstanding visual aesthetic integration of machine and team appearance. At the World Championships in Houston, Texas, they competed on the Galileo field, finished ranked 21st out of 75 robots on this field. The pink team made it back to the World Championship for the first time since 2019. If the pink team wants to come up and be recognized, come on down. And you can see they've got a lot of those accolades there.
Are we doing the other teams too? Are we doing the other? I think they're. Are we doing the other teams too?
I don't want to slow us down.
And next we have Team Voltage. They competed at 2 regional competitions. At the Tallahassee Regional, they were regional champions. They won the Industrial Design Award sponsored by General Motors for the first time in team history. This award celebrates the team that demonstrates industrial design principles, striking a balance between form, function, and aesthetics. Student Daniela F. was awarded a first Dean's List finalist. The students who earn first Dean's List nominations are great examples of student leaders who have led their teams and communities to increase awareness for FIRST and its mission. These students have also achieved personal, technical expertise and accomplishment. In Orlando, they were regional semifinalists. At the World Championship in Houston, Texas, they competed on the Archimedes field and finished ranked 45 out of 75 robots on this field. Voltage made it back to the World Championship for the first time since 2022. Congratulations, Team Voltage, if you want to come down. Congratulations. And we also have Team Horsepower, who competed at 2 regional competitions. At the Orlando Regional, they were regional semifinalists. They won the Innovation and Control Award, sponsored by Invent. This award celebrates an innovative control system or application of control components, electrical, mechanical, or software to provide unique machine functions. At the Smoky Mountain Regional, they won the Regional Engineering Inspiration Award, which qualified them to participate in the World Championship. This award celebrates outstanding success in advancing respect and appreciation for engineering within a team, school, organization, and community. At the World Championship in Houston, Texas, they competed on the Hopper field and finished ranked 34 out of 75 robots on this field. This is the 2nd consecutive year that Horsepower advanced to the World Championship. Each year, only the top 10% of FIRST robotics teams from around the world qualify for the championship. This year's event featured over 600 of the world's most elite teams, making the competition fierce. Brevard County FIRST Robotics has had an outstanding year with 3 of the 7 teams in the county qualifying for the World Championship. If we could have Team Horsepower come down. And indeed, there's some overlap between our academic team, competitors, and robotics, wouldn't you know? Team Horsepower. And now to honor our academic team. Each year, Brevard Public Schools hosts an in-district season of academic team matches starting in September and competing throughout the first semester. And so we hold those matches right here at the school board and in all the training rooms. All high schools in the county are invited to send teams to compete, including private and charter schools. Throughout our in-district season, coaches keep stats on all competing players, recording the number of questions attempted, what category the questions fall under, and accuracy if the student got the question correct or incorrect. And from this wealth of data, coaches are able to select the strongest academic team competitors from Brevard to field the most well-rounded team to compete at the state level in the Commissioner's Academic Challenge, the premier academic tournament in the state of Florida. This year, Brevard was honored to be represented by Amkar Subramanian, Ishan Sen, Joshua Kirkpatrick, Paul Wabana, Max Chinowet, and Ishan Vipul. Team Brevard was coached by Sean Johnson and Allison Fertig. You guys want to come up? I'd also like to honor some of our alternates are here today. Fraser Hoke, Hans Hernandez, and Nanami Klauser, who I don't think is here, but we always invite a few alternates to come to help spar with the team as they continue practicing after the first semester leading up to state competition, which was in April. Team Brevard competed with honor and distinction during the Commissioner's Academic Challenge, advancing all the way to the final round where they finished as state runners-up. Congratulations to Team Brevard for bringing home the silver to the Space Coast, and we're coming for you next year, Pinellas County.
All right, lastly, I would like to invite Kevin Robinson, start coming up to the podium for the Spring Sports Athletes Recognition. Mr. Kevin. There it is.
You know they want something, right? But I'm like, proud of something. Not sneaking up.
Good evening, Mr. Trent, members of the school board, and Dr. Rendell. It gives me great pleasure to recognize the success of our student athletes in our spring sports this evening. On the weekend of May 9th through 10th, our BPS high schools competed in the FHSA Track and Field State Championships at the University of North Florida in Jacksonville. BPS was well represented at the state meet, bringing home 47 total state medals that included 6 state champions. We will also be recognizing the Cape Coast Conference Coach of the Year for each sport in our spring sports tonight. Mr. Trent and Dr. Rendell, I invite you to come down to the front and center. Students and coaches, when I call your name, please come to the front, shake hands with Mr. Trent and Dr. Rendell, and then move to the far side of the dais and remain until all names are called. We will go alphabetically by school. First up, from Astronaut High School, Noah McCullum. 7th place, 3,200 meters. Alana Gibbons, 8th place, shot put. And from Bayside High School, Nakia Wilkinson, state champion, high jump, his second straight state championship. From Cocoa, Trinity Parham, 3rd, 100 meters, and 2nd in the 200 meter. Diamond Bryant, 4th in the 100 meter, and 4th in the 200 meter. And the relay team of Ayanna Barnes, Trinity Parham, Jayla Edgecombe, and Diamond Bryant, state champions in the 4x100 relay.
Good job, girls.
And the relay team of Diamond Bryant, Trinity Parham, Siobhan Harp, and Ayanna Barnes, 8th in the 4x400 relay. And our Cape Coast Conference Coach of the Year for girls tennis from Cocoa High School, Coach Jill Bond. And from O'Galley High School, Gabe Caride could not be here tonight, but we want to make a special recognition to him, Cape Coast Conference Coach of the Year for softball. He's preparing his team for the state semifinals on Thursday, so he couldn't be with us. And from Rockledge High School, Christopher Gordon, 6th place in the 100 meter and 3rd place in the 200 meter. And the relay team of Jordan Woods, Darian Aliff, Michael Gonzalez, and Christopher Gordon, 2nd place in the 4x100 relay. Raina Gaines, 7th place in the 100 hurdles. And the relay team of Leah Clark, Diari Hardison, Shade Hawkins, and Raina Gaines, 3rd in the 4x100 relay. The relay team of Layla DePooch, Kaylina Vereen, Raina Gaines, and Diari Hardison, 4th in the 4x400 relay. And our Coaches of the Year from Rockledge, Cape Coast Conference Coach of the Year for boys track and field is Ed Sabetka. And the Cape Coast Conference Coach of the Year for girls track and field from Rockledge, Freddie Goins. And our medalist from Satellite High School, Kira Merrick, 4th in the 800 meter and 5th in the 1600 meter. Hannah Harris, 8th in the 1600 meter. Selena Coriel, 4th in the 3200 meter. And the relay team of Reagan Cancro, Selena Coriel, Hannah Harris, and Mackenzie Thompson, 4th in the 4x800 relay. Lorelei Filosa, 2nd in the high jump. Bailey Madsen, 4th in javelin. And our Cape Coast Conference Coach of the Year for baseball is TJ Gowdy. Cape Coast Conference Coach of the Year for boys tennis, Jim Crane. And our Cape Coast Conference Coach of the Year for beach volleyball, Darren Bolton. And for Titusville High School, our medalist, Raphael Smith, 4th in the high jump. Trenton Kelly, 6th, discus. And our medalist from Vieira High School, Addison Elwell, state champion in the 3200 meter. And 4th place in the 1600 meter. Jaden McPherson, 3rd in the 200 meter. Michael Gerard, 4th in the 1600 meter. And our coaches of the year from Vieira High School, Logan War, Cape Coast Conference Coach of the Year for boys lacrosse. And Bailey Keeter, Cape Coast Conference Coach of the Year for girls lacrosse. And from West Shore, our medalist, Selah Vignier, 5th in the 3200 meter. Congratulations to all of our track and field athletes who won state championships and those who earned state medals, along with the Spring Sports Coaches of the Year who earned Coach of the Year honors. I am extremely proud of all these student athletes and the coaches for their accomplishments and for all the hard work they put in to get here. The success of our hardworking student athletes and coaches continues to make our Brevard community very proud. Board members, Dr. Rendell, would you guys like to say anything? No? All right, let's take a photo.
just give them a minute to get out.
We're going to go ahead and take a short recess. That brings us to the adoption of the agenda. Dr. Rendell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On this evening's agenda, we have administrative staff recommendations, 49 consent items, 3 public hearing items, 1 action item, and 1 information item. Added were A8, academic team recognition, and A9, robotics team recognitions. Revised was C12, administrative staff recommendations, F15, expulsions, F16, instructional staff recommendations, F17, support staff recommendations, F19, reappointment nominations of annual contract teachers. Removed was H68, code of conduct. Just for a point of clarification for those watching in the audiences at home, the code of conduct is something that we've been working on for quite some time. We even have a committee made up of community members that works on that code of conduct. We're pulling it off the agenda tonight because the state passed a new law regarding cell phone use in the classroom. We want to make sure that our policy matches the state law. So we'll pull it off, revise it to make sure it meets the measures of the new state law before we put it up for adoption. So that's why it's being pulled, if anybody had any questions.
Great, thank you for the clarification. Do I hear a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Paul, roll call, please.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Ms. Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. Trent?
Aye.
Mr. Susan?
Aye.
Ms. Wright?
Aye.
We are now at the administrative staff recommendations. Do I hear a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Ms. Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. Trent?
Aye.
Mr. Susan?
Aye.
Ms. Wright?
Aye.
All right. We are now at the public comments portion of the meeting. We have, how many, Paul? No.
Should have 17.
Sorry, what?
17.
17, okay. 17 speakers, and each will receive up to 3 minutes. Our attorney will call the speakers in order in which they signed up to speak. I'm going to take this moment as a warning to those in attendance. If you cause a disruption, you will be asked to leave the premise. If you continue to cause a disruption or fail to leave the premise, you are in violation of Florida State Statute 877-13, and you will be committing trespass. And the board will enforce these rules. Mr. Gibbs will call the first 3 speakers.
Rhonda Samuels, Bill Pearlman, Laura Fuentes.
Hello. My name is Rhonda Samuels, and I'm a teacher at Satellite High School. I've been a teacher for 36 years, not quite as long as the last lady that retired, but 36 years, 20 of them with Brevard County. I've taught in different countries, Canada, Hawaii, California, Texas, different states, and I found a home at Satellite High. I've been there for 6 years teaching early childhood education. It's a wonderful program. But I thought you should know a stat. I have about over 100 students every year, and of that 100 students, I'm lucky if I get 10 that really want to be teachers. I love inspiring all those students to be good workers and to be future parents and aunts and uncles and babysitters, but I'm lucky if I get about 10% for that are really interested in going to college to be a teacher. Now, of that 10%, I have a sad stat to share with you that you guys came up with this really great thing called a binder, and I promoted that binder. I'm like, yay, you guys come back and teach for Brevard schools. And I got 0. It was really sad that the girls in the program, the 11 graduating seniors this year, are going to go into education, but they weren't excited about coming back to Brevard County. They actually were interested in going out of state, or at least out of the county. There's a bit of a negative climate right now in our county for teachers, and it's a hard enough job trying to sell it. I love my job. I love my students. I've had a great 36 years. Thank you for 20 years of reappointments for a job that I love. My supportive administration, parents, wonderful teen teachers, and amazing students all made my job the best 36 years ever. I'm also the advisor for the Future Educators of America, and that's another group of students that I've been really pushing to become teachers, and it's a hard sell. I mean, they are interested, but there's money, and there's parents, and there's rules and problems, and it's become a really hard sell. So this is my retirement year. I'm retiring this year, and I just hope that the future of education is safe with you, with these teachers, and promote a county where people want to work and feel support, because we're losing somebody that's really dear to my heart. And those students also support her as well. Melissa Calhoun, we love you.
Bill Pearlman,
I should stop him there.
Laura Fuentes, Jennifer Jenkins.
Good evening, I'm Bill Pearlman. I'm a retired BPS teacher. First, a big shout out to Mrs. Jen Yuski, who you honored tonight. She's your district-wide Volunteer of the Year. Congratulations to Jen. Jen and I were at Manatee Elementary, their volunteer brunch this week, where she was recognized as their Volunteer of the Year. I was unfortunately disappointed that Mr. Susan was not in attendance at the volunteer brunch where Mrs. Yuski and I, as well as many other volunteers from Mr. Susan's district, were honored. But I know he was busy. Mr. Susan was in court where Judge Blau handed him his latest very costly defeat, as he's been desperately trying to avoid complying with public records laws.
So I didn't ask you when you got up there, my apologies, but what agenda item are you speaking to?
Well, I'm talking about the volunteer brunch that Mr. Susan missed.
Is that on the agenda? What item is that?
The volunteer, you honored
I understand that.
volunteers
What
of the
agenda
year.
item are you speaking to,
Do
sir?
you not recall honoring the volunteers of the year?
That's not an item we're voting on.
It's not a voting item that we're talking about tonight. Just stick to a voting item.
It was item 6 on your agenda.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, you see it, right?
We didn't vote on that, sir.
It's on the agenda. I'm speaking about an agenda item. Doesn't have to be a voting item.
It's just asking if you could clarify
Did I
that
st- did
if
you-
people wanted to hear you.
You're using my time now, sir. This was a very costly defeat for Mr. Susan, as he's been trying desperately to avoid complying with public records laws. You're using my time and you're cutting my mic off.
You're speaking,
You're
sir.
censoring me. You're censoring me.
Why? We heard you exactly.
Thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars of taxpayer money on a losing cause because this week Mr. Susan was handed a defeat. I get that you're embarrassed about it, which is why you're cutting my mic off. That money would have been better spent on improving academic outcomes. But tonight I also would like to address F19, reappointment of annual contract teachers. The list of teachers being reappointed is 125 pages long, but even with that, your list of instructional job openings, vacancies, over 220 instructional vacancies that I counted yesterday afternoon. So at your April 22nd board meeting, I joined with others and we asked for compassion for Mrs. Calhoun, and we asked you to offer her a contract for next year. By all accounts, she's a teacher that's highly valued for her excellence in the classroom, but you showed no kindness, no compassion, no due process, and no recognition of the excellence that she has shared with the estimated 3,000 students in her career here at BPS. I also spoke to you at the May 6th school board meeting, and I tried a different approach. I asked you to consider the harmful economic impact that you're having on our community with the negative headlines, negative national headlines. Lots of examples of that. If someone were considering a move to Brevard, they could Google Brevard schools. They'd be treated to a horror show of your recklessness and lack of focus on improving academic outcomes. We want you to know many of us are really disappointed in our superintendent and our board. It hasn't always been that way. I was employed with BPS from 1983 to 2023, and you make it hard to be proud of this district. We mean it when we say Brevard deserves better.
Laura Fuentes, Jennifer Jenkins, and then Rebecca McAllenan.
Mr. Chair, if I may, to clarify before we get started, I just wanted, because, people don't always go back and read through the policy, just for clarification purposes, as far as agenda items, the public comment agenda item is meant, going back to our policy 0169.1, for purposes of the policy, a proposition, members of the public shall be given a reasonable opportunity to be heard on a proposition before the board. Proposition is an item before the board for a vote and includes, but is not necessarily limited to, all items on the agenda noticed as unfinished business, consent, and non-consent. A proposition may also include a vote on a motion to rescind or to amend action previously taken, but does not generally include items on the special order agenda. A proposition does not include items wherever found on the agenda upon which the board votes in its quasi-judicial capacity, which is not tonight, or under board discussion or information. So just to clarify, the things that are on the agenda, public comment time, it has to be on something that is a proposition before the board, which is something that we would vote on. So I hope that clarifies that for the public. That has always been the case. And if you would like to speak on, we are allowing for the non-agenda time people to speak on anything else. So items during this time really need to be kept to things that we will be voting on tonight. Thank you.
Good evening, members of the board. I stand before you tonight to speak on agenda item 19, the reappointment of annual contract teachers for the 2025-2026 school year. I'm honored to be among those invited back next year, and I thank you sincerely for that opportunity. As someone on that list, I want to offer a glimpse into the kind of people you're reappointing tonight. I feel immense gratitude every day for the privilege of doing what I love. Teaching is not my job, it's my calling. It is deeply rooted into who I am. I show up every day with heart, dedication, and a sense of responsibility I do not take lightly. I am proudly an educator. And I'm not alone in this passion. I have the honor of working alongside some of the most brilliant minds I've ever encountered. Colleagues who are not only highly educated and intelligent, but who give so much of themselves every day for the families that they serve. That's why it's painful to speak about what's missing from next year's list. One of our own will not be returning. And frankly, that loss is devastating. I've heard this board discuss why her contract was not renewed. But with all due respect, the more I hear, the more I believe you don't truly know who she is. Melissa Calhoun is one of the most principled, compassionate, and dedicated teachers I know. She's a Satellite High School alum, an active church member, a beloved educator, and a living example of what we strive to instill in our students. Roots so strong that they return to serve their community. Your decision does not only affect her, it wounds the heart of an entire community. This isn't about politics. We are not politicians. We are educators. And Melissa Calhoun is one of the finest. Thank you for your time.
Jennifer Jenkins, Rebecca McAllenan, Ryan Metrogali.
I want to direct your attention to page 10 of the investigation report, specifically the determination outcome section, and I guarantee you probably didn't even ask for it or read it yet, where the district explains its rationale for disciplining Ms. Calhoun. Let's take a closer look at the citations that were listed, because while the language may sound serious, the legal context tells a very different story. First, the state statute on personal titles and pronouns. The law requires school boards to adopt a policy on how titles and pronouns are used. Your investigator appears to misunderstand a fundamental point. A personal title is not a name. It is terms like Mr., Mrs., and Miss. This law doesn't even directly regulate a teacher's use of a nickname. Its enforcement depends on whether or not this school board has adopted clear procedures on titles and pronouns. Second, it cites Administrative Code on Education Records. This rule requires school boards to create a parental consent form for name changes. This rule governs administrative paperwork, not classroom conduct. It doesn't discipline teachers for calling a student by a nickname. The principal states in that report, I showed her how to locate approved nicknames in the system, which has not been explained to her before. She also admitted she hadn't reviewed the policy with her staff this year. Let's remember, the district only updated Focus to show nicknames after this incident took place. Your investigation includes a random PowerPoint training that wasn't even given to this teacher. Why did you include it in the investigation? Why are you punishing a teacher for the district's failure to train her? Next, the district cites the professional conduct rule that prohibits harassment, discrimination, or creating a hostile, intimidating environment. But what exactly did Ms. Calhoun do that fits that description? The district used this rule to justify referring her to the Department of Education, yet there is nothing in this 128-page report that supports that escalation. So what was your basis? Was it an email from a man living on the Panhandle? Was it the phone calls between Mr. Susan, Mr. Trent, and this parent? Lastly, the district references Board Policy 3210 on ethical conduct, but that policy doesn't add any new grounds for discipline. It simply mirrors existing state law, and there's no indication that Ms. Calhoun violated any ethical standard. She's not being judged for misconduct. She's being judged because the rules are changing around her as you please. So let me end with this. If we start punishing teachers who are trying to navigate hastily written and poorly communicated policies, you are not raising standards, you're enforcing fear. Did you ever think of questioning the student themselves? Perhaps ask about the other parents' feelings on this issue, maybe instead of the peers of this student? I urge the board to stick with the facts and uphold basic decency. These rules are meant to guide you, the school board, and the district, not to be used as a scapegoat for teachers who are just simply trying to do their best.
Rebecca McAllenan, Ryan Matrogali, Evelyn Newman.
Hello. Words. Once they are spoken, they cannot be unheard. That is not the same as actions, however, which can be undone or corrected with further information. Words were spoken without malice or political intent. According to the amazing investigative reporting by Florida Today, it seems some information has been left out of any discussion or comments from this board. While it appears that, yes, she admitted to using the preferred name, she also admitted not knowing where to see the parent forms. And once she learned where to locate them, which Focus magically updated, she went there and checked every student before to make sure that she was not complying, or she was complying. She has not since called the student by the preferred name, according to documents, yet she is being used as an example of killing woke culture to the extreme end of her losing her career here. When you factor in the loss of instructional capital with 12 years experience in AP level teaching, you are intentionally costing this district depth and knowledge that our students will not recoup anytime soon. Excellence as the standard. Seems like such an important policy would have had in-services, emails, or any sort of training and update for faculty and staff, given these grave consequences they apparently hold. By the teacher's words, there were no training or any guidance given this year. Dr. Rendell, you've mostly been left out of this outrage shown by the community in total support of this teacher and the students at BPS. This frustration that we have is not only about this teacher. It's about the culture at schools, the harassment endured by teachers, and the lack of support and literal failure of future success for Brevard Public Schools. How do you explain your decision to go nuclear and rescind the renewal of this highly qualified, experienced, caring educator? Was there just cause? Why would the district and Mr. Dufresne decide to elevate this unintentional act to further harm our district, county, and this teacher? The guidance from the state is, as usual, vague, yet you heard what the exact words are from Ms. Jenkins. Additionally, you've decided to exact deliberate pain on this teacher and her school, even as your own internal investigation deemed that not required or not recommended. Let's not forget the student in this, who is certainly feeling the pain of this extreme decision that is not a mandatory choice. It was something that you chose to do. Is it still Mental Health Month? I can't remember. And again, I can't believe I'm saying this in 2025. You cannot make someone trans. A book can't do that, a name can't do that, clothing can't do that. This one parent's hell-bent desire for an example to stop the culture is a picture of ideology replacing intelligent and religious ideals over policy. Your lack of attention to the public outcry has not gone unnoticed, and your disregard for speakers and students is a masterclass in privilege and politics over students. Brevard deserves better. Please reconsider this teacher. At the very least, change these policies so these decisions are not left to one individual.
Ryan Matrogali, followed by Evelyn Newman and Karen Fulton.
Hi again, board members. It's me, Ryan Matrogali. I want to start by presenting my research question and hypothesis for my experiment. Was the non-renewal of Ms. Calhoun's contract fair and lawful? The hypothesis I have drawn seems to point to no. In regard to policy 3140 under agenda item G65, I find it fascinating that you have been so quick to action with some staff but pull the reins on your mighty chariot when it comes to others. Ms. Calhoun never had a reason stated for her termination on public record. All staff terminations conducted for this board and by the superintendent have some sort of explanation for the crowd that watches from afar. Additionally, I noticed in agenda item F19, the reappointment nominations of annual contract teachers for 2025 and 2026 school year, someone didn't quite make the cut. The superintendent made his decision on the renewal of Ms. Calhoun's contract. With this, I should have reached my results and proved my hypothesis, no? I can't help but be left unsatisfied by this result. For the purpose of just fullness, I will be enacting a continuation on this experiment. Ms. Calhoun was not given the due process she deserved. You, the superintendent and the board, must provide a reason for the termination of staff which is still yet to be seen by the public. 4 of the faculty under agenda items F37 through 40 have reasoning under their cause of termination, which shows that this was no mistake on your part. But how can this be? How can I reach my proper results if the data has been tampered with? My judges won't be able to properly judge me if I'm presenting a project with missing pieces. But alas, I endure for the sake of science. My methodology and data collection may be imperfect, but my p-value is still below 0.5. Since my p-value is still statistically significant, I can draw a conclusion from my results. The non-renewal of Ms. Calhoun for the 2025 through 2026 year was unjust and unfair. This experiment isn't even over yet, though. In fact, it's only beginning. In order to ensure the efficiency and reliability of this experiment, we can add more onto it. Give Ms. Calhoun the due process she deserves, and then come to a decision that is both beneficial and impactful for you and all the people you represent. If you don't have any questions about my research or experiment, I must be off. For you, dear board members, have many people left to judge tonight. Thank you.
Evelyn Newman, followed by Karen Fulton and Kelly Columberti.
Hi, my name is Evelyn Newman, and I'm a junior at Satellite High. And I will be speaking on policy G65, suspension or dismissal of staff. Shortened to the point, here's a direct quote from the Brevard Schools website. It is the desire of the board to maintain a staff of well-trained, competent instructors in order to offer comprehensive services to the students of this district. A well-trained, competent instructor has been let go for the simplicity of calling a student a different name than their birth name, which has almost absolutely nothing to do with how they teach or how well-trained they are. This teacher has a pass rate for their AP Lit classes of 86%. How does this compare to the national average? The national average pass rate, according to Google, is 72%. 86% is her passing rate. That is 14% above the national average. This teacher has a pass rate well above the average, meets the requirements of being an above-average teacher, and giving exceptional, comprehensive services, and is being let go for as simple as a name. To serve every student with excellence as the standard is your mission, posted right behind you. Letting a teacher go that performs as well above the standard, almost 15%, maybe 14% above the standard, is frankly something that your motto is well against, and your policy. May I quote again? To offer comprehensive services. Your teachers are having to choose between their own students and a piece of paper. The comprehensive service to this district that the teacher provides for the classroom is easily proven by the pass rates that they get from their tests. Name aside, this is the first case in the state where a teacher is being let go for an incident of a name. Why not give them a second chance? You want to maintain a well-trained and competent staff. You are letting one more than capable for the job go. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Karen Fulton, followed by Kelly Columberti and Catherine Martinez.
Good evening, board and Dr. Rendell. I just wanted to take just a moment to bring to, we've had a lot of outrage from the community, a lot of concern about this teacher, but we have not also, again, had a lot of thought or talk about the student's family. And I just wanted to bring that to light tonight, that is a concern of mine, a concern for the student involved in this and for their family. And I just wanted to take a moment because last time when I spoke about this, I couldn't put my hands on the Florida statute, and so I just wanted to read that tonight. The Florida law, section 1000.071, Florida statutes. It is illegal for teachers or school employees in public K through 12 institutions to use a student's preferred personal title or pronouns if they do not correspond to the student's biological sex. The law states, an employee or contractor of a public K through 12 educational institution may not provide to a student his or her preferred personal title or pronouns if such preferred personal title or pronouns do not correspond to his or her sex. Sex is defined as the classification of a person as male or female based on biological traits as birth, sex chromosomes, hormones, and genitalia. This means teachers must use names and pronouns aligned with a student's biological sex, not their gender identity unless it matches their birth sex. Just a little reminder for us tonight, and I appreciate your decision on this, and I once again would just like to remember the student, the family, as sad as I am for the teacher, because the whole thing is sad. The whole thing is not great. And that's all I have to say.
Kelly Columberti, Catherine Martinez, Leanne Cheney.
Good evening, board. Hi, my name's Kelly. I'm not here to talk about that stuff. I'm here to talk about agenda item G65, actually. Because, see, I'm a nervous kind of person. I come up with hypotheticals. And what I'm afraid with the language of this agenda is that it's a little vague about the conditions under which you can dismiss staff. It defines just cause with 6 very broad definitions. And I find the 2 most problematic to be immorality and incompetency. Now, I thoroughly trust the board's ability to understand immorality and incompetency. I want that to be clear. But what I worry about is, a future board, a hypothetical board, that perhaps has a different definition of these terms. One which is either insufficient or perhaps overcompensating in targeting staff accused of moral turpitude. So what would be so difficult about defining these specific transgressions and cleaning up the language of this agenda item? So here's a hypothetical I have for you to consider. We can agree that regardless of political stance, it's pretty easy to identify when something's actually harming or helping a child if you actually care about that child. So here's my example. Let's say a teacher slips up in the classroom, stubs their toe, and says a swear word. Oopsie, right? Let's say the kids overhear the swear word, but they all love this teacher, no harm is done, and a few kids actually feel a little bit more comfortable in that environment now. But let's say one parent overhears that this happened in the classroom and reports this teacher to the board for some type of consequence. Is it appropriate for that hypothetical board to disregard the rights of all the other students and parents by removing that beloved teacher, by questioning other students without parental consent during class time? Let's say that there is proof that this teacher swore without malice and agreed to watch their language, but was still sacrificed at the altar of fad morality, insincere faith, and government by sensationalist outrage. I just want you to consider that when you're looking at G65, maybe some other things too.
Catherine Martinez, followed by Leanne Cheney and Paul Raub.
Good evening. I'm here as a parent of 2 children in Brevard Public Schools, as well as a citizen concerned about the future of all Brevard students. Specifically, I'm here to speak on the reinstatement of teacher contracts. I doubt I'm going to say anything that you haven't heard before. But maybe if you hear it again and again, maybe you will listen to parents. We will not be silenced. The mission behind you is honestly a joke. There's no excellence being served here. It is reprehensible that a caring teacher was essentially fired for respecting a student's dignity. And that right there is extremely disrespectful to yawn while I'm speaking.
Oh my God.
As I'm talking about respect. We have a teacher shortage. We have teachers getting reprimanded for drinking alcohol with students. We have school staff charged of sexual misconduct with students. These are actual crimes. It is appalling that this district would choose not to reinstate a good, caring teacher based on the complaints of one parent. I keep hearing about parents' rights, but what about the rights of all the parents who stand with Calhoun? And now to hear that the decision to not reinstate her contract was not even recommended, but only a reprimand. Superintendent Rendell made this decision all on his own. Melissa Calhoun's contract absolutely should be renewed, but also, you would be lucky to have her back. Honestly, why would she or any other teacher in this country want to work for a district that doesn't support them, that silences opposition, and is a national laughingstock? Not only has this story gone viral across news networks, I urge you to visit brevardschoolboard.com if you haven't already. Again, brevardschoolboard.com. I will repeat it again in a second if you need a pencil to write it down.
She's supposed to speak to the board.
It is by a writer for South Park, so maybe it's satire.
agenda?
But honestly, it's genuinely difficult to discern, if not impossible, if it's satire, because it is so atrociously accurate. Again, brevardschoolboard.com. Super respectful for a Brevard school board member to just walk out in the middle of my comment. Brevard deserves better than a board that does not follow recommendations, does not listen to parents, just does whatever they want based on their own political and religious ideologies. To every member of this Brevard school board, do not forget, you work for us. Do better.
Leanne Cheney. Leanne Cheney. Okay. After Leanne, we have Paul Raub and Keith Becker.
Hello. I hadn't prepared to speak today, so I don't really have anything prepared, but I do want to be one more voice in support of Ms. Calhoun. Ms. Calhoun is a teacher of excellence. As previously stated, her AP scores are well above average. She is well loved by her students and coworkers. Last time we heard from a teacher who said morale was very low there because of her treatment from the board. Our students deserve excellence. Our students deserve Ms. Calhoun. Please renew her contract. Brevard deserves better.
Paul Raub. After Paul Raub, we have Keith Becker, Zaire Samdi, and the last, oh, wait, no. We got two more after that.
So there, I'm here, I'm addressing F19, you probably figured that out. In talking about Melissa Calhoun and what's been going on here, there's conflicting landmines to avoid when we're thinking about it. Figurative landmines, no actual landmines, no threats here. There's one danger is to simply think of Ms. Calhoun, we talk about the fight, the movement, the website, the let's protest, let's make sure you guys feel bad. You should feel bad. You should feel terrible. But to treat her merely as a symbol or as something to rally behind when this is a real person, this is a dedicated teacher, this is a person with a family. Your decision to score points with the Aunt Lydias of the world costs a real person their real job. There's a real, specific, human cost when you make a decision like this. on your long list of unforced errors. You didn't have to do it. You've said other things, but you didn't have to do it. You still don't. The vote hasn't happened yet. I don't know exactly how all that works, but a boy can dream. But on the flip side, to not notice that this may and probably will be a sign of things to come would also be a mistake. Perhaps more because of the vagueness of the rules, because of the capriciousness of this decision, the chilling effect on other teachers, the people you should be leading, is incalculable. And we've heard from a lot of them, and we've heard privately from a lot more who are afraid to speak out, which, you know, for anybody who's actually been in a leadership position, if the people you're leading are afraid to speak to you, you're doing a terrible, terrible, terrible job. But they are. They're afraid to use their own judgment. They're afraid to speak their own voices. They're afraid of consequences. Because we have a teacher being fired for being respectful to a student. And that's thinking about all these things, thinking about all these. Sorry? Oh, sorry. Thinking about all these things is difficult. It's a lot to keep in our heads. The real person, but also, symbol and emblem, walking exemplar of what's to come or what's already happening that we don't know about. It's easy for you guys when you're the hammer and you get to treat everything as the nail with no possible consequences in a non-election year. Easy for you. You still there. You still have your jobs. You shouldn't. You're making it very clear that someone else should be in minimally 3 of those seats. Do better. Do anything.
Keith Betcher. After Keith, we have Zaire Somdi, Sebastian Martinez, and Julia Anton.
Good evening. So the term parental rights has been referenced and weaponized often when discussing this ridiculous situation with Ms. Calhoun, whose contract deserves to be reinstated today. Columnist Jamel Bowie hits to the heart of why better than I ever could, so bear with me. He states, parental rights never seem to involve parents who want schools to be more open and accommodating towards gender nonconforming students. It's never invoked for parents who want their students to learn more about race, identity, and the darker parts of American history. And we never hear about the rights of parents who want schools to offer a wide library of books and materials to their children. Instead, parental rights seems to be a means of empowering a small conservative minority who feel entitled to restrict the rights of others based on the discomfort they feel over certain topics and identities. Parents' rights, like states' rights, is quite particular. It's not about all parents and all children and all the rights they may have. The reality of parents' rights movement is that it's meant to empower a conservative and reactionary minority of parents and to dictate education and curriculums to the rest of the community. It is, in essence, an institutionalization of the heckler's veto, in which a single parent, like this case, or any individual really, can remove hundreds of books or shut down lessons on the basis of the one person's political discomfort. Parents' rights, in other words, is when some parents have the right to dominate all others. Ultimately, then, parents' rights movement is not about parents' rights at all. Reinstate Ms. Calhoun. Thank you.
Zaire Somdi, Sebastian Martinez, Julia Anton.
How about this?
I'm seeing myself out. You are being extremely disrespectful. That was 5 yawns. Get some caffeine.
Hi, y'all. I'm going for the casual, more laid-back approach since apparently this is the vibe that we're going for today. I'm here tonight to talk about what's become another infamous moment for Brevard Public Schools, the non-renewal of Melissa Calhoun, an AP educator with a stellar record who somehow didn't make the cut under agenda item F19. I'm also going to be talking about agenda item G64 and G65, policy 3120 and 3140, since last time you wanted Xander Morgs to specify the policy, which I wasn't aware that that was required. She should be up for renewal, but in all honesty, if I were her, I'm not sure I'd even be comfortable being renewed to work for such an embarrassing school board. Let's be clear, if this decision were based on consistent, documented standards, you'd be able to show the receipts. Instead, we get procedural smoke and mirrors and a whole lot of silence. And while you're busy stonewalling, students lose a dedicated, high-impact teacher. The community loses trust, but hey, let's all pretend this is normal. Now on to agenda item G64 and G65. You toss around language like gross insubordination, immorality, and willful neglect. Spoiler alert, these words don't have any meaning without clear definitions, not without operational definitions, and not without safeguards. Right now, those terms are just glittery tools for selective discipline, vague enough to punish whoever's politically inconvenient. And let's not ignore the power grab in policy 3140, where superintendent gets one-click suspension authority with all the oversight of a shrug. That's not policy, it's a permission slip for retaliation. And yes, Ms. Calhoun is living proof of how dangerous that setup can be. Meanwhile, public support for Ms. Calhoun has been loud, consistent, and overwhelming. Emails, calls, public comment after public comment, and what you've done with that input, toss it in the same drawer as your transparency and accountability. So here's what needs to happen, and it's not complicated. It'd be nice to put Melissa Calhoun back on the reappointment list, stop enforcing policies like it's a choose your own adventure, rewrite your disciplinary language with objective standards, build in real accountability and checks on the administrative power, and maybe start listening to the people you serve, because right now it's giving retaliation, it's giving bad governance, and it's giving up on educators for all the wrong reasons. Do better, your students deserve better, the community deserves better, and I also find it shocking that there are some people who have the audacity to sit here in the same room as her and feel no remorse about the decisions that they've made in terms of her career and in terms of the students that she serves, and to essentially sit here in her face and say that this is what she deserved.
Sebastian Martinez, Julia Anton.
Good evening, board members. My name is Sebastian Martinez, and I'm here to address agenda item F19, the reappointment nominations for annual contract teachers for the 2025-2026 school year. I urge you to reconsider the non-renewal of dedicated educators like Ms. Calhoun, whose contract should be renewed to strengthen Brevard schools and serve your students. Brevard Public Schools faces a staffing crisis with over 300 job vacancies for next year, including 196 teaching positions, 74 support staff roles, 67 coaching spots, and 29 administrative spots. These gaps impacting Brevard's 73,000 students across over 84 schools. My point being, across Florida, although Florida is a hard sell for educators to come to, like an earlier speaker said, when someone looks up Brevard County schools, you'll be known for your controversies and scandals. You won't be known for the excellent programs that you have, which you should be known for. Losing experienced teachers like Ms. Calhoun deepens this crisis. Then, with new reports coming out of the district interrogating students, this board seems more focused on creating a culture of fear and surveillance than classrooms of excellence. As a board, you should be focused on equipping your staff and going out and listening to your community, not crucifying your staff and constituents. Brevard's reputation as a top Florida district for student achievement depends on educators like Ms. Calhoun, her AP English literature classes, mock trial coaching, and dedication. Research shows veteran teachers improve student outcomes and mentor new educators, reducing turnover, something your district needs. Unfulfilled roles risk larger classroom sizes, uncertified substitutes, and a drop in academic outcomes. Your students and parents who brought their children to your schools don't deserve that. Focus in on addressing low pay, working conditions, and decreasing scrutiny on your own educators. And also something they mentioned earlier when it comes to agenda items and speaking off agenda items, and Ms. Katie Campbell. There's a difference between a policy and an agenda, which during the last one I know we had a short back and forth, but there's a difference between an agenda item, the letter and the dash number, which is required by state law, and the policy. So when you're asking your constituents to name a policy, that's not required. It's the agenda F19 in this instance. So thank you so much for your time.
Julia Anton.
I signed up for non-agenda items, so I'm going to sit, and I expect to be called during the non-agenda items.
Okay. All right. Is that it? All right, that concludes our agenda items. Public comments. Thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to address the board with your concerns and suggestions. I would like to remind the public that the board is accessible for further conversations outside of our business meeting through scheduling a meeting. Okay. We are now at the consent agenda portion of our meeting. Dr. Rendell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. There are 49 items under the list in this category.
Thank you, Dr. Rendell. Does any board member wish to pull any items? I'll entertain a motion to consent items on tonight's agenda. Any discussion? Paul, roll call, please.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Ms. Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. Trent?
Aye.
Mr. Susan?
Aye.
Ms. Wright?
Aye.
We will now hold a final public hearing for the following policies. G64, is there anyone present that wishes to address this item? Is there anyone present that wishes to address this item? Do I hear a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Paul, roll call, please.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Ms. Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. Trent?
Aye.
Mr. Susan?
Aye.
Ms. Wright?
Aye.
G65, is there anyone present that would like to address this item? Is anyone present that would like to address this item? Do I hear a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Paul, roll call, please.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Ms. Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. Trent?
Aye.
Mr. Susan?
Aye.
Ms. Wright?
Aye.
G66, is there anyone present would like to address this item? Is there anyone present who wishes to address this item? Do I hear a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Paul, roll call, please.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Ms. Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. Trent?
Aye.
Mr. Susan?
Aye.
Ms. Wright?
Aye.
Dr. Rendell, would you please let us know about the items under the action portion of tonight's agenda?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The first action item is H67, procurement solicitations.
Do I hear a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussions? Paul, roll call, please.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Ms. Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. Trent?
Aye.
Mr. Susan?
Aye.
Ms. Wright?
Aye.
We will now move on to the information agenda, which includes one item for board review and may be brought back for action at a subsequent meeting. No action will be taken on these items tonight. Does any board member wish to discuss this item? Okay. At this time, I would like to offer my fellow board members and Dr. Rendell an opportunity to recognize students, staff, or members of the community.
Mr. Chair, I'll go first.
Sure.
First of all, a couple things. Just as a recognition, I'd like to recognize Palm Bay Mayor Rob Medina for finding the donor to purchase the rings for the Palm Bay High School girls basketball team for the state championship. He did that. He found out about the need and went out and found a donor. So he found Thrifty Produce. So many thanks to Palm Bay Mayor Rob Medina and Thrifty Produce. I'd like to also acknowledge Miss Ferrante Williams, the principal at Stone Middle School, and her team there. She put on a great little gala for the 70th anniversary of the school and a dedication for Ruby Mae Jackson for the gymnasium. And last but not least, as far as recognitions go, I'd like to give a shout out to Matt Susan and Yvette Cruz and all the people that had a hand in putting together the enlistment ceremony last week. That was truly remarkable. And I've heard a lot of comments in the community of people that said that how amazing it was. Last thing I'd like to mention, and can't make a motion on it because I already lost, but I will just like to share with you guys just some thoughts about what's going on with Miss Calhoun. Because there's a lot of misinformation out there on both sides. And so I'm gonna give you my opinion. I have not talked to Miss Calhoun other than greeting her tonight. But I know a lot of people that know her, and I've had a lot of people contact me, and so everything that I had learned was only verified by the information that I learned when the public records request was made by Florida Today. And it's all been verified as far as if that story is accurate as far as the information that was provided in that investigative report, then I can speak with confidence. Ms. Calhoun, I think, has been a person who's been caught in the middle of an ideological battle. She is a woman of faith. She is a person who is a great teacher. And yes, she broke a rule. But even in the investigative report, it recognizes that she did not, or she stated, she's the only one that I know of that's been honest through the whole thing, that she did not break the rule out of maliciousness. She didn't break the rule out of trying to carry a flag for a cause. She broke a rule. And was it with intent to make a statement? No. She broke a rule because that was what everybody called the student. So she had no maliciousness, no intent to break, do any harm whatsoever. And she, by the students that had been interviewed, she had never used a pronoun, never tried to direct her own beliefs on any of her students other than to teach English. So she's what a teacher should be. She is what we want every teacher to be. And I really think, I hope, that we will really look at this situation and give her a fair and reasonable punishment as far as not for breaking the rule. She's already gone through, hell and back over this situation, more than anybody ever deserved to go through. And I would ask that you guys would consider renewing her. I can't make the motion. I already lost once, but I would just say, we're all people of faith. Dig down in your hearts and really try to do the right thing.
All right, Ms. Campbell.
First, I want to recognize a student from Edgewood, Nirvan Dalal. A couple of Saturdays ago, my daughter and I participated in the Childhood Cancer 3K walk run that Nirvan organized to support a local charity called Candlelighters. Candlelighters, some of you may know, we do not have any pediatric oncologists in the county, and so Candlelighters was organized to support Brevard families with a child who has cancer. And so they do things like provide transportation, money for transportation, since it's always a drive over to Orlando or farther, to help pay bills when families are going through the worst imaginable circumstance. And so some of you guys know the Edgewood and West Shore Do Senior Project. This was not a senior project. This was just a volunteer program that this student did. And thank you. And the okay. Well, applause for Nirvan, because he did a good job. Nirvan, through the 3K walk run, raised over $18,000 for Candlelighters. So I just really wanted to thank him. And of course, my family has been blessed by Candlelighters, but I really was proud of this student and the work that he did organizing this event. I want to thank the Palm Bay Rotary for recognizing all of our Palm Bay area and even a little beyond schools. They always recognize an exemplary student at each school, and they hosted them with a lunch, and it's always, I'm proud of that organization for taking the time to honor students and teachers and their administrators in the same day. Last Wednesday, board, we had our reunification exercise. It's the second one, and they are doing that twice a year, so that just like as our students practice their emergency drills, the district practices their drills of what would we do in the event of the worst kind of circumstances where we might have to evacuate a whole campus full of students to a remote location. And so to make that drill happen, they needed volunteers, so I signed up I signed up to see. I wanted to see exactly what was going to go on, and I volunteered. I was a parent who was trying to escape and go find my kid. I was successful, but I didn't get all the way. They caught me. You were supposed to push the boundaries to see what is our staff going to do in those circumstances when parents are upset, when students are confused. And I just wanted to congratulate not only Mr. Wilson, but also Cynthia Rayan and the whole team and the team at ESF who was practicing what they would do in those circumstances where they would go remote and prepare to meet students and match them up with their parents. And I think they did a good job. I just want to thank all the volunteers also, who some of them were teachers, some of them were parents. We even had a few students from Viera who came over to participate in the exercise. And this is a hard one to drill, because you do a fire drill, you walk out and you come back in, but this is a hard one to do, and I think they did a really excellent job, and they're continuing to improve their processes. So great job, Ms. Rayan. I know Mr. Wilson, you'll pass on that. Congratulations. It was good to be a part of that and get that insight. And I did want, I'm not going to go back and forth because I think I've said mostly what I needed to say, but I will tell you that what I have said before, I do mean with all my heart. Once we have a decision from the state, my hope would be that Ms. Calhoun would have the opportunity to come back and teach if we have a positive result regarding the circumstances. But I do support the superintendent's decision. I think it was the right thing to do because we do have students. We as a government never need to come between a parent and their child. And whatever circumstances those may be, we need to always check ourselves in those kinds of decisions that are going to put the government in between a family. And so I think the superintendent made the right decision, but at the same time, I have communicated to him several times that I would hope that once we get the decision from the state, that Ms. Calhoun would have the opportunity to come back and, if she chooses to, apply for a position at a later time whenever the state has done their work. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thanks.
All right.
Ms. Wright?
All right. We are in, a sprint to the finish right now, so all things fun. So I'm sure board members, you are signed up for as many graduations as I'm signed up for. I'm looking forward to those celebrations with all of our students. One of my favorite things, I'll challenge each one of you, I hug every one of those kids that walks across the stage because it's a huge accomplishment. So I will challenge you for the same thing. Try to hug as many of them as you can because some of those children may not have received a hug today. So that's a very exciting time. But I also want to give a shout out. We have the Brevard Schools Foundation is having a golf tournament coming up, gentlemen, on June 13th. And they are looking for teams to participate in this. And so since I know we have several golfers, I think it would be very fitting if our board possibly put together a team. I'm not a golfer, but I think you are, Mr. Thomas. I think you golf some. So just something I want to throw out there. So there's an event that's taking place on June 13th, and I would love for our board to show up and represent well for that. Also want to give you kudos to the enlistment ceremony. I have to be honest, you have a lot of ideas, and I love that you're a visionary in ideas, but sometimes I'm like, ooh, what are we doing? Is this going to be crazy or is this going to be awesome? And this one was crazy awesome, so that's what I will say. It was amazing. It was a great ceremony. I've heard from so many people that attended it how impactful it was, and it was an honor and a privilege, really, for those students that are taking that step to really make the ultimate sacrifice to defend our country. I am eternally grateful to them for what they are doing, and I think that is a tradition that I hope this board and every board after us continues to do moving forward. So, John, I want to commend you. I appreciate your heart. When I hear you talk about the situation that's happened with Ms. Calhoun, I just want to say that I don't think anybody's happy that this has happened. I don't think anybody wanted to be in the middle of this entire circumstance, really. You have a heart of gold, though, for you to continue to come back to a place of grace. I appreciate that 100%. And I can't speak for everyone up here, but what I will say is that I don't find great pleasure with where we are right this minute. I don't believe that anybody sitting up here has any animosity towards our educators, despite what people are trying to say. We love our educators. So I know that there are people that are saying other things, but that's not true. It's not accurate. So I appreciate what you're trying to do, but ultimately I tend to agree with Ms. Campbell on this. Let's see what the state does and then reevaluate the situation from there. So I appreciate the effort that you put forward there. And that is all that I have.
Thank you, Ms. Wright. I just wanted to say there's a lot of people that are thanking me. It was actually for that enlistment ceremony. I just want to kind of clear it up. There's a guy named Sergeant Orocho. So we formed an organization called ECAC. And ECAC has put together the passport, the other things with the assistance and basically drive of Miss Yvette Cruz. But what ended up happening is he just came forward and he said at our meeting, he said, we've had the largest number of enlistees in the state of Florida, or in the history of Brevard. We should honor them. So my part of it was just to kind of help organize from a school district's perspective. But I mean, like, the big shout out goes to Miss Han, who every time I called her to say that they were bringing like Humvees and tanks and stuff like that, she says, okay, Matt, let's breathe and let's try to figure it out. And then when we did the fireworks, he didn't pull the permit until the day before. So there's just a lot of stuff. Ms. Han on those aspects. Dr. Rendell, for every time I came in and told him what was coming next, he didn't blink. He just said it's for the kids and let's do it. And then you guys as board members. I mean, the ECAC board and Ms. Yvette take credit, but for you guys to all come and be a part of it and be there to support those kids, there's nothing like going out, enlisting yourself to serve your country. And I think that that's amazing, and I just want to say thank you to all you. But my portion was a very small portion. I just got to be the guy that was in between everybody else, that's all. So I don't want to take too much credit for that. I did want to say thank you to Congressman Herodopoulos. He put together a letter for every one of those kids that crossed that stage. Also to Don Weaver and Moac and those guys, because they officially minted a coin for Brevard's enlistment ceremonies. There it is. And it's just incredible what everybody kind of threw in at the last minute. So I wanted to say thank you to all of them for that enlistment ceremony, and thank you for you guys coming. I did want to say there's another great event that happened. The water safety, actually, they took children from Sherwood Elementary School, let them leave, come over to the Sherwood pool, and the kids learned to swim for the first time. And many of you may or may not know, but we've lost some young children over the last couple of weeks. We lost one in my district right up the road from my house. And there's a definite need in water safety and learning to swim. And Ms. Brooke is like literally a driving force like I've never seen before. I mean, she gets us, and I think I'm forward, and she's 10 times more. But it takes that to get some of these things done sometimes. So I'm very proud of her and proud of Dr. Rendell, because that's a big step. I don't think that that's ever been approved by a superintendent to allow children to go and learn to swim like that. That was phenomenal. So.
I have to disagree.
Okay.
One of the West Coast counties, Sarasota or Collier, one of those has a water safety program for kindergartners already. So
Well,
we
I
were
just meant in
modeling.
Brevard, though.
Okay. All right,
Yeah.
but-
Anyways, so I did want to say thank you to that, and thank you to Ms. Brooke. And then something really crazy happened. Some of you guys might have got texts and pictures and stuff like that, but they did their first test run for the go-karts this weekend. And we had schools, Mr. Sebeka, who was known as the golf or the track coach of the year. He was honored earlier. He beat the other teachers in the racing around the golf go-karts. And we had representatives from like Suntree, Ralph Williams, Roy Allen, like schools all across the county. And the kids got out there and they had a lot of fun. Just so you know, they're just doing tests right now at the Cocoa Track up in Cape Canaveral. But what they're going to do is next year they're going to do like a Winston Cup. And it's going to have all the schools. And I can't tell you how many kids are interested in this. It's crazy. So great cahoots off for that, and another great thing that we've done. So that's all I've got. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'll pile on with the enlistment ceremony. That was great.
It was great.
Anyway, I never doubted your leadership on that, like Miss Wright. No, that's fine.
Sorry,
It was great. That flyover with the helicopter was so impressive. I was fortunate enough to have a son in
You didn't want us to honor you for that. And that
No,
was
but it was great. I talked to him afterwards, and he just said it was an amazing experience. So thank you for giving that group of kids that experience. So it was really nice. It was impressive. It's that time of the year, and our next board meeting will be out of school. So teachers out there, administrators, you did it. We're at the end, and final exams are starting if they haven't already. At most schools, it's the next few days, and then we're there. Seniors, you're probably already done. I know I have one at sleep until noon right now at my house. So congratulations on that. And testing coordinators at about this time of year, they're sleeping a little bit better. That their jobs with the EOCs are pretty much done, but we're still trying to get some of those seniors across the stage. We're pulling them across the stage. So I know some of our principals are staying up at night of seeing what we can do to help out those seniors get that diploma. So we're pulling for you. We're proud of you, and students, you did it. One more year that you've done, and you've come across the entire 180 days in Brevard. So we're proud of you, parents. Thanks for putting up with them all year and getting them out of school, out of the house to get to school on time. And it's been a long year. But you see here at our board meetings when we have the entertainment in the front, I mean, again, that's what it's about, is letting your kids join as many things as possible, expressing and showing their talent. So it's pretty humbling here every few weeks when we get to see that. So it's a pleasure on this end seeing that. But you're about ready to get a nice little break before you have to redo all those lesson plans, teachers. So we're almost there. Dr. Rendell?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. A couple of things. I want to circle back to something Ms. Campbell was talking about, the Palm Bay Rotary Club honoring students in the south part of the county. Mrs. Wright and I were in the north end of the county a week or so ago for the Titusville Chamber, and they honored educators and students. So it was a big shout out to both of those communities to making sure that those community organizations are recognizing not just the educators and the students, but the families involved, and it was really nice to be a part of those two things. I do want to clarify some statements that Mr. Susan made. We did have kindergarten students from Sherwood Elementary be introduced to water safety at the pool down the street. Brooke is a water safety instructor. Her name was Brooke Bothune, but she just got married recently, so I'm not sure what her last name is now. She's been doing water safety training with all of our elementary schools on land. So she'll meet with the kids and talk to them about water safety on land, but this is our first experience in the water. And they were kindergarten students. Many of them had never really been in the water before, so it was quite a thing to see them be introduced to water in a safe way and learn some skills that hopefully if they ever do fall into a lake or a pool or a body of water of some sort like that, that they can navigate their way to the side and be safe. So our first experience of water safety training for kindergartners in the water. Next year we want to do more of that, but it was water safety training on land up until the experience with Sherwood at kindergarten, so that was a really cool thing. And last thing about the enlistment ceremony last week, it was really special to see nearly 200 young people raise their right hand and make the commitment to serve and defend the Constitution and our United States. And a great way for us to let them know that the community cares about them and appreciates their sacrifice. So really great ceremony. And yes, as was stated, kind of an idea, a wild idea put forth by Mr. Susan, but we executed it pretty well and we can't wait to do it again next year. That's it.
Can you say one thing about our PI awards?
No, we didn't mention that, yeah. So last Friday afternoon, all of our schools have some business partners, and there's a business partner coordinator at the school that kind of helps with all these different business partners. And so we honored the different business partners last Friday afternoon, and also there were some business partner coordinators of the year, you know, some teachers and other staff members who organized this relationship with our business partners. And so we honored them with some awards, and it was a great event. Another event really kind of hosted by Yvette Cruz, the master event planner. Mel High's culinary department, Chef Ferguson, provided all the food for that, and it was awesome. At the same time, Friday afternoon, we were also having a different ceremony where we honored all the businesses that host interns for us. We actually have students, juniors and seniors, that can go out and get paid internships, and, well, they can get paid internships if we have a company willing to host them. So we wanted to thank those businesses for hosting an intern and also celebrate the experiences that those interns got through the CTE department. So a couple other big things going on last week.
All right. Well, thank you. All right. I'd like to recognize our attorney, Paul Gibbs.
Board members, on behalf of attorneys Randy Mora and Jay Daigneault, I am notifying you that advice is needed regarding the pending litigation styled Jennifer Jenkins versus Brevard County School Board and Matthew Susan, case number 05-2023-CA-018437. Pursuant to 286.011 Florida statutes known as the Government and the Sunshine Act, I am requesting an attorney-client session with the board for the purpose of discussing strategy, settlement, and/or expenses regarding the litigation. I will ask the board's clerk to cause reasonable public notice of the time and date of this attorney-client session and the names of the persons attending to be published. If the board approves, I will work with the board clerk to coordinate dates for the attorney-client session, working with our counsel's availability, and provide notice of the meeting inclusive of scheduling a court reporter. As required by this statute, only the following individuals may be present. School board members: Katie Campbell, Matt Susan, John Thomas, Jean Trent, Megan Wright, Superintendent Dr. Mark Rendell, Paul Gibbs, General Counsel, Randy Mora, Trask Daigneault, Jay Daigneault, Trask Daigneault. As required by statute, I will ask a court reporter to record the session. Their notes will be fully transcribed and filed with the clerk of the school board. Upon conclusion of any litigation and/or settlement of all claims arising out of this case, the transcript will be made public record.
I recommend the board hold an attorney-client session pursuant to Section 286.011 Florida statutes to discuss strategy of a pending litigation. If there's no objections, I will instruct our attorney to work with the board clerk and schedule as soon as the matter may be heard. All good? Okay. Very good. All right, we will take a short recess to prepare for our non-agenda public comments.